Aaron Rodgers, 2-year stint with the Jets that he'll never want to remember when he goes into the Hall of Fame. He'll just say, please don't mention that. Now he's with Pittsburgh, and he had his best game since Green Bay. Threw 5 touchdowns. Is it 5, right? Am I right about that, Sam? I don't want to screw this up, too. 4 touchdown passes. Yeah, I screwed up again. 4 touchdown passes against the New York Jets. Buy or sell, Aaron Rodgers will finish the season as a QB1 in a 12-team league, top 12 fantasy quarterback. Buy or sell.
You know, the cop-out here is he stays healthy, yes, right? He'll do it. They're not asking a lot, top 12. Purdy's already not going to be top 12, right? He's already going to miss this week, probably another week, maybe as much as 5, they've said. So you knock him out there. There'll be other quarterbacks that get hurt, so you knock them out. I don't think he'd ever get top 5, top 6, top 8. But the 9 to 12, I hate to say it, he wasn't bad last year with the Jets, right? They didn't win games, but he wasn't bad. He had it when he played. He was a good, solid quarterback. You know, he can still sling it. He still can. I'm the first to admit those 4 touchdowns. It wasn't like he had a monster game. A couple of his interceptions were dropped. You know, that should have been picked off there. It seems like he did complete work for touchdowns. A couple of breakdowns by the Jets as well. So I don't see him really as going to win a league for you. But I'm going to buy this if he stays healthy. Hell, just give me 15 games, and I think he can be top 12. So I'll buy this.
I'm going to sell it. Yeah, I mean, games against the Browns and games against the Ravens. And look, I don't know if the Jets defense is as bad as they've showed. If it is, then this may be his best game of the season. So, yeah, I'm going to sell. I think he's on the outside of this looking in.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on SportsGrid.
It is a Wednesday hump day on the Sports Grid Network, and we are here to rise and shine and rise and grind. Donnie Wrightside along with Joe Raniero over the next 2 hours. We got you covered. Every hot topic you need to know, we got you. What happened last night in Major League Baseball? We'll get there. Tomorrow's NFL slate. Yes, football's back in our lives in 24 hours, but it's hump day, Joe, midway in the middle of the week. It's time to keep the energy high. It's time to turn the page and get the people what they need for their Wednesday sports day. How about it?
Yeah, listen, Major League Baseball winding down, Donnie. Week 4 of college football is almost upon us. And, of course, we got a lot of backup quarterbacks we got to start navigating through this week in the NFL.
Watching a lot of tape here, watching some of these guys let it spin. Can they be quarterbacks for long term or maybe just keep their team afloat? Joe's right. We got a lot of information we have to sift through for this week's NFL slate. But before we do that, Joe, it's time for the 7 and 7, the hottest topics across the sports landscape to keep you in the know, which means Tom Brady. You see his name up there and you say, well, what's Tom Brady in the news for? Hasn't played in the NFL for a couple years. He's the owner of the Raiders now, or part owner. Yeah, he is. Understand this, Joe. The most cheating organization in the history of the NFL was the New England Patriots. He learned from the master in Bill Belichick. Anytime you had a big game in Foxborough, fourth quarter, 2-minute drill, Patriots up by 3 points, boom, the headsets went out on both sides of the field. Why? Because they knew that. There were chances that the opposing locker rooms were bugged during the game so the team could listen. This is Bill Belichick, who ran the Patriots organization, who would tape plays in neutral sites, including the Super Bowl, to make sure he had an added advantage. This was also the same team that would tape from the sidelines and steal your signals and decipher them at the half. Oh, and how about Tom Brady? Well, Tom Brady also one of the biggest cheaters in sports by deflating footballs and ruining the evidence so you couldn't pin him on that. Always a cheater, will be a cheater, but I say this. Cheating to win is usually a good thing. Tom Brady's now in the coach's booth as an owner, gathering intel during meetings with other NFL teams during the week and sharing it with his football team. Where does it end with Tom Brady? Where?
Well, not getting in trouble. Let's be realistic here. They've already made that deal with the devil here, and the NFL can't go back on it now, can you? I mean, you're the one who tried to set up some guardrails here, and, you've relaxed them, and because apparently the whole world on national television got to see Brady for, I guess, trying to get an unfair advantage as an owner of a franchise. This was all created by the NFL. They allowed it to this point with him, and guess what? I don't know how they get out from under it now. What are you going to do? How are you going to get rid of him?
Yeah, kids, I tell you this right now. Look into my eyes. Cheat at everything. Look at Tom Brady. He's cheated more than anybody in the history of professional sports with his organization. Look where he is today, an owner of an NFL team, hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts moving forward. It pays to cheat because the penalties don't weigh up to what you can actually gain while you're cheating there. Congratulations, Tom Brady, on a great career and a great ownership now. You cheated to win. Congratulations. I love to see it. How about this? Cheating to win on the Philadelphia Eagles, some might say. Every single team, Joe, in the NFL can use the tush push. They don't want to do it. Oh, the Eagles do it too well at this point. I'm fed up with it. Just regulate the play. Come out there, Joe. Make sure the defense is on sides. Make sure the offense is on sides. Hike, and play football. I'm done with this argument.
Are we 100% sure, Donnie, that every team can do the tush push? Because the way they're crying and moaning and yelling, it would appear that only the Eagles have the advantage there. The only ones that can actually go out and run a tush push is the Eagles, because everyone else is acting like it's not fair. We can't do it. Why are they able to? Oh, wait a minute. No. Oh, you mean everyone can do it, Donnie? Oh, I'm confused then. What's the argument here?
He made all his money in Bitcoin. Hey, buddy, you can invest in Bitcoin. I'm not doing that. I'm just mad he made all his money in Bitcoin. Doesn't we sound the same thing? Sounds idiotic at this point. Everybody can do it. Join the bandwagon and do it here. How about Dabo Swinney? He's trying to win football games right now at this point, and he's trying to defend his record. We got some quick video right here on Dabo Swinney defending himself.
What's so bad about our program? What's so bad about it? Like, what's so bad about the worst season that we've had 14 years? How many programs in college football would sign up for one, and only once, 14 years of 9 wins? How many programs would sign up for that? And the playoffs, so we all talk about, we've been 7 times in 10 years. Who can say that? If we stink because we haven't played for the national championship since January of 20, well, I guess we stink.
You know it's bad, Joe, when you got to go back to the annals of what you've done over the past as opposed to what you're going to do this year. I love to hear it. I love Dabo like this.
Well, you know, he went on to eventually say, hey, listen, all you haters want me out of here. That's fine. I'll leave. But understand, I'm not going to stop coaching, he says. I'm not going to the beach, Donnie. I'm 55 years old. I'll go down the road and coach against you. So be careful what you wish for, Clemson fans. Be very careful.
Tough scene down there for Dabo. We've been through this before. They'll probably rebound because the ACC stinks, and we'll see what happens. Probably Miami will stink it up in the final 2 games of the season. Clemson will get themselves right back into the national championship picture, and away we go. I'll tell you an interesting game again last night. Shohei Ohtani hits his 50th home run and is dominant on the mound. Oh, yeah, and the Dodgers lost that game because their bullpen got trashed late by the Philadelphia Phillies, who continued to win. Ohtani's one of a kind, but my goodness, he can't do it all, Dodgers. Come on.
No, he can't. But yeah, listen, great opportunity to back them early in games in the first 5 when he's there. That bullpen is a hot mess, but pretty impressive stuff. 50 home runs, at least 50 strikeouts in a season. I'm telling you, enjoy this guy while you can, Donnie, because he is a Halley's Comet. They don't come around very often, and when they do, just kind of take out the camera, appreciate what you're watching right now.
Appreciate the big dumper as well. A catcher hitting his 55th and 56th home runs last night. And by the way, in the odds market, you did get a buyback here on Cal Raleigh to be MVP. He's now plus 500. We'll see what he can do. But what an impressive season. And also understand this. He did this playing half of his games out there at T-Mobile in the Pacific Northwest, a tough place to hit home runs. What a season for Cal Raleigh.
I mean, listen, when you set a Major League Baseball record and you pass a guy by the name of Mickey Mantle for the most home runs in a season ever by a switch hitter, that is darn impressive. Another thing that doesn't happen very often, I mean, Griffey Jr., they're used to home run hitters in Seattle, right? But Griffey Jr. was only lefty. He wasn't doing it from both sides of the plate, Donnie.
Yep. How about yesterday, too? The New York Mets bust out the bats, 5 runs in the bottom of the first inning to sort of calm the nerves in the New York area about the Mets making the playoffs. They pick up a big win over the Padres, and also costly for the Padres. The Dodgers are getting beat. The Padres got to win some games here, man, if you want to close that gap.
Well, maybe Clay Holmes and Manea can just double team and pitch the rest of the games all the way through and lock it up here.
Yeah.
But good job by them. Padres, I don't know what to tell you. Michael King got lit up. It was 5-0 before they even blinked an eye in the first inning, Donnie. That game was over before it started. But good news, you can't count on the Reds, apparently, because, they couldn't even score another run again last night, Donnie. Shocker.
Yeah, WNBA on our radar today. Look at that. Paige Beckers is the WNBA Rookie of the Year. This is the first time we've mentioned the WNBA in weeks on the program, which brings me to a topic I have. You can't run into September. You can't play the WNBA into September. Nobody cares about the WNBA. End it on Labor Day. We'll watch, we'll enjoy it, and then we'll be done with it and watch football, Joe.
Who won the WNBA championship? It's still on? Ouch. Sorry, WNBA.
Yeah, where's the ratings of the WNBA? Can you even exactly? I mean, my goodness, WNBA end it in the summer, people, and people actually watch. We ain't watching in September. That's the truth. Let's get to more NFL topics next. Key injuries, they're all over the place.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes what. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I was looking at through my phone at first. I'm like, why is there such a delay? And why are we getting pitch hitters right away? Oh, the pitcher got thrown out for some reason. Maybe he hurt himself. But no, turning out and seeing a brawl was absolutely hilarious to let that one play out. Just the way it is sometimes in baseball. We don't get a lot of good fights and a lot of good brawls and anger, specifically from two teams that aren't going to the playoffs. So good on them for showing that moxie last time. But it's good to see a little bit of a brawl and a little bit of that passion here.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
If a game is on the line,
give me the Navy kicker.
Oh,
the guy's going into battle in 2 weeks. He can't make an extra point. Come on.
From a mindset perspective, yeah. I'm not. Listen, we thank them for their service. I love them. Okay.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, if you have a bet and you have an academy kicker with a field goal or an extra point, you got to hold your breath.
27 yards. You know,
27 yards. The kid shanked it from like 30.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
The passion, the topics, is what we do on the SportsGrid Network. We love to hit those, and if it strikes a nerve, good, because that's what it's supposed to do. For me, I don't like the New England Patriots as an organization. Don't like Robert Kraft, don't like Tom Brady, don't like any of the Patriots that say, hey, Gronkowski's on TV and Edelman and Brewski. We're tired of hearing about stupid stories from the early 2000s about the Patriot way. But understand this. I also understand that Tom Brady's the single best football player I've ever seen as long as I've been walking this earth. So there is a respect on that where this guy is a trained killer and he's going to get ahead any specific way he can. But understand this, Joe Ranieri, that we just talked about in the previous segment. There's ways the NFL can get around this, and there's ways the NFL just to say, hey, you can't have it both ways. What is so hard about this? Hey, Tom, if you're going to own a team, you can't be in the broadcast booth, and you just can't be mingling with the players. You're an owner. Act like it. Cool, right? Or, hey, Tom, sell your share in the organization. You can be a coach. You can interview whoever you want. You can do whatever you want at this point. You can't have it both ways. Why are we doing this in the NFL where Tom Brady is looking to have it both ways? Because the whole drama started where Tom Brady's in the coach's booth with a headset on as an owner and a guy that calls football games. This can't happen. The optics are terrible, Joe.
And it's so funny, Donnie, because in a league who was so adamant over the years about protecting the shield, the image, right? What people think, right? Perception is reality. And yet on a Monday night game in front of a national audience, we're cutting away to Brady with a headset on in the coach's booth when he is part of the Fox broadcast team, who also, by the way, allows him to be able to sit into production meetings and get to see and talk to the other team that's going to play the Raiders and so on and so forth. So this is all created. Don't forget, he signed the deal to be a broadcaster before he ever bought in to the Raiders. So he had already decided, I'm going to go into broadcasting after playing. And then it wasn't until after that where he's like, hey, Mr. Davis, you want me to be part? I'll be part owner. You allowed this from the get-go, the NFL, and this is what you deserve.
And I understand this. Can we post that graphic here from The Athletic? Because I just want it encapsulates everything that the NFL should be worried about. You see the James Palmer tweet at the bottom. Tom Brady meets with Chip Kelly 2 to 3 times a week to go over film and go over the game plan. Keep in mind, he's the owner. And every weekend, Brady is calling a game for Fox, gathering as much information and intel as he can to broadcast it. Then The Athletic, with the quote tweet, basically says, this Sunday, Raiders minority owner Tom Brady will call America's Game of the Week on Fox when the Dallas Cowboys visit the Chicago Bears. Chicago's Week 4 opponent, Vegas. He can ask questions, what to look out for, what to do, translate that information back to his team for a competitive advantage. I don't understand. It's almost the equivalent of insider trading, which you cannot do. I'm going to play both ends of this. I'm going to gather intel, and I'm going to share that intel with my team that I have a vested interest in. Some people might say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. The optics are the big deal. What does the NFL always try to, be the caretaker of? If somebody is gambling in the NFL or information is getting out, we're not going to allow that, because even if it doesn't influence the game, Joe, you have an influence over the public and the betting public and everybody thinking things are rigged. This has to stop, and it's a simple choice. Tom, do you want to own a franchise or do you want to be a part of the NFL? You can't have it both ways. You can't.
And for those of you that might not completely understand what we're talking about here, take, for instance, this week, Brady's going to be in Chicago because he's going to be calling the Cowboys and the Bears game, all right? All right, so what's the big deal? That has nothing to do with the Raiders. Right. Except for next week when the Raiders are playing the Bears. And guess who gets to have complete access in that Cowboys-Bear game as a broadcaster to everything the Bears are doing? And do you not think, after watching him with a headset on, that he is not taking notes and he is essentially, Donnie, a roving spy for the Raider organization, where he can take all the inside knowledge he gets as a broadcaster and also relay that over to Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll and company? It's just, the optics are horrific.
Did you also see where the NFL was trying to make up the the landscape of, oh, it's okay because he can talk to the players on the phone as long as he doesn't meet with them in person? What does that even mean? That doesn't even make sense. Do you remember in the past, it's like, okay, if we're going to suspend the head coach like Belichick, you're suspended 2 games, you got to stay away, and they somehow come up with burner phones to communicate because you're not supposed to have any communication. So now we're led to believe if you meet in person, he can get all the information, but if he picks up the phone, he gets all the information. That's somehow okay. And also Warren Sharp with a tweet put out. So in the last 48 hours, the NFL deleted a tweet that said they sent saying Tom Brady works closely with Chip Kelly to put game plans together, because that shouldn't be happening. And number 2, filed a copyright claim on a broadcast video showing the Eagles were false starting on multiple tush pushes. What is happening at the Shield? You're right. It seems like it's cover-up season for the NFL, when again, Joe, if you just follow the rules, the optics are fine. But it seems like, boy, we like the superstar power of Tom Brady being back in the NFL, and Yeah, he's calling games. It could be a conflict of interest. Now he owns a football team. Now he gets information, can share with his team when nobody else can do that, but it's okay because he's Tom Brady. How did we get here?
Yeah, again, this is all self-inflicted by the NFL because it's Tom Brady. They would not allow this with any other player in the history of the game, Donnie. No other player would have been allowed to, be in a broadcast booth and then all of a sudden be part owner of a team and everyone think they would not have allowed this in a era, I guess, long gone here now, except when Tom Brady wants to do it. When Brady does it, here we go. If you thought the refs were Brady friendly back when he was playing, Donnie, that is nothing compared to what the NFL is doing, tripping all over themselves to allow this guy to basically be a spy for the Raiders organization and do it under the guise of, well, he's a broadcaster, right? So, I mean, there's no rules against that. Oh,
I mean, what's next for Tom Brady? Like, he's going to be on the practice field in a Raiders uniform, and after that, he's going to be holding a clipboard as the emergency fourth quarterback on Sundays here, an owner/operator on the sideline. We're getting that close at this point. And it's amazing that, like, Tom Brady, you'd think would have self-awareness. Like, boy, this is a really bad look, and I'm bringing scrutiny on the organization. I probably should just step away from this and leave it up to the players. No, he's not doing that. It's almost like full gas. Like, being on a primetime football game in the coach's booth with a headset you knew would be terrible optics, and he just didn't care at that point. More NFL news, notes, and topics coming your way next on a Wednesday Hump Day edition of The Early Line.
You're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
51-0, Donnie.
Yeah.
Those numbers don't lie. Georgia, every time they rush for over 200 yards, that's dating back from 2017 against FCS and FBS opponents. They don't lose. The 2 years that they won back-to-back national championships, year one, they rushed for over 208 times. Year two, when they beat TCU, that year they rushed for over 206 times.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, NFL news and notes. We love it. We love to talk about it right here on the Early Line. It's a Wednesday. It's Hump Day. We get it. Tomorrow night, we're going to have an NFL football game in the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills, who look really good, against the Miami Dolphins, who look ready to fully implode. But before we get there, so many injuries. And we talked ad nauseum already this week, Joe, about the quarterbacks that we're saying who's actually starting. What year is it in the NFL? Yeah, we get that. But if you take a look at the Buccaneers, who opened up the season 2-0 so far, Kalijah Kancey goes down with a pectoral injury, which is a devastating blow. One of the high risers at defensive tackle in the NFL. there could be a chance he comes back for the playoffs, but you're down September, October, November, and December, and probably done for the season. That's a devastating blow for the Buccaneers defensive line.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, Donnie, because this happens every year. Even though we're going, oh my goodness, look at all these injuries. It's just an unfortunate part of the game. I mean, imagine what Detroit felt like, right? With Aiden Hutchinson, they knew he was gone early in the season for the rest of the year. So, unfortunately, if things like this happen, Donnie, and they're always going to happen, kind of better it happens now than, let's say, in week 11 or 12, and then it rolls over into the following season and everything else. So at least at this point, whether it be Burrow or you have an opportunity to get these guys back when it matters the most at the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens there. The Bucs, again, probably the lead dogs there in the NFC South, but never good to lose one of the better NFL players there, specifically defensive tackle. He did it all. He was fantastic, and he's going to be down for some time if he can even make a comeback. Next story we'll talk about is the Carolina Panthers. Look, you're hired to be fired in the NFL. It's just the way it is. But Dave Canales, I don't think ever got a fair shake there in Carolina. He'll be fired shortly here. Bryce Young, good luck with that organization. You never got surrounded with enough talent. Well, why are you talking about this, Donnie? We're only 2 games in. Number one, the Panthers look like they stink again. And number two, the offensive line devastated with injuries here. Guard Robert Hunt torn biceps. Center Austin Corbett torn MCL, both headed to IR. Good luck, Panthers, in 2025. My goodness. Will they be the team, is the last team to win a football game this year, Joe? I mean, this team, come on now. Goodness.
Oh, I know it's not good, but, neither are the Dolphins, neither are the Giants. There are a lot of 0-2 teams, Donnie, that in which you just can't get behind. Injuries or no injuries, they're going to be a fade moving forward. Although I'll tell you, just like we witnessed Sunday against Arizona, and they didn't have those guys. They lost those guys by the time that game mattered in the fourth quarter anyway. A lot of backdoor covers could be coming. A lot of value watching this Carolina Panthers team, because as an offensive-minded guy with Canales, they still got some weapons offensively. Those empty netters alive and well, and those backdoor covers here with teams like Carolina moving forward.
It's crazy when you look at like NFL organizations. Like if you're a fan of the Panthers, like your season's basically already done. It's week number 3 coming up. Like, what do you do with yourself? Do you go back and watch some Clemson football? Do you buy into Chapel Bill down there in Carolina? I don't know, but my goodness, with that offensive line and that team struggling and that coaching staff and a hot-headed owner, probably not going to work out in the way for Dave Canales here.
I wouldn't know that, Donnie, as a Jet fan. I wouldn't know that as a Jet fan.
You guys are living high and mighty as Jets fans right now.
No idea what you're talking about, season being over in week 2. I'll say it again. The preseason is my favorite time of year with a team. Like if I'm a Jets fan, probably for Carolina, because that is when hope reigns real, right? Like, yes, this is going to be it. Fields is going to be a good quarterback. Bryce, no. And then by week 2, Donnie, we're like, all right, next year, there's always next year. Well, who's available in the draft? That's the life of fans in the NFL, of teams that have absolutely no shot of winning anything.
Come on. Don't you remember the day you got Brett Favre, the day you got Aaron Rodgers? Like, times were so good for the Jets, man. We finally got our quarterback. We're going to do some damage here, have some fun. It's just the way it is. Hamstrings already creeping up on us once again. Every day we read about hamstrings. How about the Vikings placing Aaron Jones on IR due to a hamstring injury? He's down for multiple weeks. And, their starting quarterback, he's out for probably a month as well. The Vikings getting devastated with injuries early in the season here.
Yeah, not good. We saw this happen last year to the 49ers, right? It seems like every year, Donnie, there's a handful of teams that the injury bug just, it hits, and next thing you know, you're like, wow, can they sustain it? But again, the good news for the Vikings is offensively, they were going to tread water. It was the defense that was going to have to be successful in order to keep them in games throughout the season. And that's still the case here with the Minnesota Vikings.
Now about the case with the Bengals signing Sean Clifford and Mike White to the practice squad here. Looks like we're going forward there with Jake Browning, and away you go into your season. My goodness, they got some good wide receivers. They got a bad defense, and I still don't know how the Jacksonville Jaguars actually lost that football game. It is what it is. It's the NFL. It's crazy at times, but it's time, Joe Ranieri, to get back to Major League Baseball next. Did you see what the Phillies did last night? Yeah, they won again.
you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
51-0, Donnie.
Yeah.
Those numbers don't lie. Georgia, every time they rush for over 200 yards, that's dating back from 2017 against FCS and FBS opponents. They don't lose. The 2 years that they won back-to-back national championships, year one, they rushed for over 208 times. Year two, when they beat TCU, that year they rushed for over 206 times.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Did you stay up late last night? Did you watch Major League Baseball? If you did, you caught an interesting one out on the West Coast. Shohei Ohtani lines up as a starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and what does he do? 5 innings pitched, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, no hits, and no runs. A 4-0 lead for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Looked like the Phillies probably partied a little bit too hard the night before, which is what we were anticipating. Sanchez wasn't terrible in this game. 7 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. You like to see it better, gave up 2 home runs. But this was a game you thought would be lock, stock, and barrel. The Dodgers would win. Specifically, if I told you, Joe, before the game, Ohtani wouldn't give up a hit through 5 innings. But the Phillies were able to tack on late in this game 9 runs, which means they scored 6 in the top of the 6. Just coincides with Shohei Ohtani being removed from the game because he was on a pitch count. And then 3 more in the 9th when it was tied at 6 to win this game 9-6. The Phillies continue to win. Yeah, it's good to see Ohtani hit a home run. Yes, it's great to see him pitching well, but Jesus, bullpen, give him some support.
No. And again, that has been my biggest complaint about this Dodgers team all season long, Donnie. It's what has kept me off them. It's why I stopped betting them. And this has not changed. No matter who they got back healthy in the starting rotation, that bullpen is a hot. I mean, you could literally still smell through the TV the alcohol on the Phillies players from the celebration the night before, and the bullpen couldn't come in and close the door, Donnie, at all. You got to be kidding me, especially when Ohtani's doing what Ohtani's doing here. I mean, just no excuse at all. But kudos to the Phillies. You know, harkens back to those Darren Dalton days and Kruk days where they were pretty much loaded the entire season, still winning games at World Series.
Eduardo Rodriguez, not a very good pitcher last night. 5 innings pitched, 5 earned runs given up, which included 4 in the top of the first inning, which saw the San Francisco Giants up 4-0. Then in the bottom of the second inning, 3 runs scored by Arizona, and the game was on and popping, only to see the bottom of the 9th walk-off victory for the Arizona Diamondbacks, 77-75. The Giants, 75-76. They're trying to track down the New York Mets, a monster series here that sees the Diamondbacks get the victory yesterday.
Huge game. And we had said it too, right? It's going to be a big series. I mean, out of nowhere, you know, this was a team that sold all the pieces, right? They were hitting the reset button, Arizona, at the trade deadline. Like, oh, well, we gave it a shot. You moved on from Merrill Kelly. You moved on. You got rid of everything. And now all of a sudden you're still, what, a game and a half, 2 games out of a wild card spot? How does that happen, Donnie? That's a pretty good farm system is how that happens.
That is a pretty good farm system. We'll see if they can make that charge because we've seen it just stay hot. There's been times where Arizona got hot late in the season and end up going all the way to the World Series. We'll see if they can replicate that and get into the playoffs. We'll find out, obviously, over the next 2 weeks here. How about Houston and Texas? These two teams doing battle basically for the same playoff spots. Houston picks up the victory 6-5 over the Rangers, but it wasn't without a scare. What do you mean by that? Well, 1 in the first by Houston, 1 in the third by Houston, 4 in the bottom of the fourth by Houston. That's a 6-0 lead. Look at that final score, 6-5. In the 8th inning, 4 runs played it in the top of the 8th for Texas to make it close. Weren't able to get over the hump. And if we're looking at pitchers, Merrill Kelly, come on, man. You're basically in a playoff race here. 3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. Can't have that.
Nah, he was awful. It was the worst start that I have seen Merrill Kelly have since he has been when he was traded to the Rangers, man. It was not good. He thrown a ton of pitches. Houston, give the hitters credit, Donnie. They were making him work in the counts, and they just took advantage. He had that one bad inning, and that was it. They just could not recover from it. But kudos to the rest of the guys that came in for Texas. They locked it down after that 4th inning and gave themselves a chance to actually get back into it, but they fell just a little bit short.
Remember when the Yankees went all those moves at the deadline? Like, we are going to fortify this bullpen. We are going to be ready to go into the playoffs. Since the All-Star game, their ERA is basically over a 5. You look at the final score yesterday between the Yankees and the Twins, which, again, I told you this. The night before, the Yankees with a pitcher they should hit. No runs, only 2 hits. You knew exactly what was going to happen the following night. 2 runs for the Yankees in the first, 4 in the second, 3 in the third, 1 in the fourth. They had a 10-1 lead over the Minnesota Twins, and this game ended up 10-9 because their bullpen can't get anybody out. By the way, Zebby Matthews, analytics love him, ERA hates him. He got smashed right off the bat yesterday. The Yankees broke out the bats, but you're not going to win baseball games if you can't get guys out late, and the Yankees bullpen is a disaster, Joe.
Yeah, and again, for those of you that might have turned in late or haven't seen us here over the last couple of weeks, there is one rule on this show for me, and that is that we never bet the Yankees full game. If you're going to bet the Yankees, you bet them in the first 5. And why? Because of exactly what happened last night. Yes, they may have won the game, Donnie, but I can't imagine having had a ticket on the Yankees full game, watching that game 9-1 in the 4th inning, and then going, wait, whoa, then Yarbrough comes in and gives up. What? How does this happen, Yank? Do not bet them full game with that bullpen.
We just talked about the Yankees and the Minnesota Twins with a 10-1 lead for the Yankees. How about another game right behind it that actually had a 10-1 lead as well? That was the Seattle Mariners up 10-1 over the Kansas City Royals. We talked about it earlier today. 2 home runs in the top of that lineup by Cal Raleigh, 55 and number 56. They cruise to a victory and stay on pace there with the Houston Astros, as it looks like we are on a collision course over the final few games to see who's going to win the AL West.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. Waka got crushed. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 4 in the third, 2. I mean, I think they scored a run in the first 5, at least 1 run in the first 5 innings there, the Mariners against the Royals pitching, and then it was just off to the races at that point.
Off to the races were the New York Mets yesterday, 5-0 in the first inning yesterday, 7-1 by the time we got out of the second inning. Was basically a wrap at that point. 3 runs scored here by the San Diego Padres, which was key for me. I just needed them to get the 3 runs on an all-team total, and they did. But Michael King, one of the guys you're looking forward to if the Padres do make the playoffs, he can be a force. 3 innings pitched, 10 hits, 8 earned runs, which included, Joe, 4 home runs. That all done within 57 pitches. A talented pitcher getting crushed at Citi Field.
Another bad night for a guy that throughout his career had dominated these Mets hitters here. They were not hitting Michael King well at all, but all it takes, right? 1 bad inning. We saw Merrill Kelly go through it last night, and we saw Michael King go through it yesterday, but kudos to Manaea coming in, relieving Holmes. That looks like a combination the Mets might actually be able to utilize moving forward.
Yeah, a lot of other scores out there across the landscape in baseball. It's still fun to pay attention to, and it's nice when you get these cards today, like we'll talk about the Wednesday card, a lot of afternoon baseball action, sort of tiding you over before we get back to the NFL tomorrow night. But if you are looking at some of those divisions there, that AL West is so intriguing. The Mariners, a half-game lead over the Houston Astros. And by the way, the Mariners, if you're paying attention, how about 10 straight victories at the right time here, and they still can't quite shake the Astros, but incredible that they're back in first place at this time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, the threat of losing Alvarez again, right? The night before, the bullpen is still very suspect because of the injuries, and yet, yeah, boy, they are holding it down there in Texas. What could have been, unfortunately, Donnie, if you had Eovaldi, if you had Seager healthy, a lot of ifs and could have beens for the Texas Rangers right now.
Yeah, take a look at the NL West as well. Certainly a fight for the playoffs there. The Padres sit 2 games back of the Dodgers. The Dodgers lost the last 2 games against the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll see if they can salvage a game today. But the Padres, there still is an opportunity to win that division, but also understand this. Padres are going to get in the playoffs, and so are the Dodgers. Just that prize of winning that division and getting some home field advantages in the first round, that's still up for grabs. With the Phillies, 12.5 game leads over the Mets. They clinched that NL East. Now they're fighting with the Milwaukee Brewers, Joe, 1 game back to try to get that top overall seed in the National League.
It just feels like there's outside of the Brewers, who have been nothing but consistent. Which one of those teams you just mentioned there, who's just rolling at the right time heading into the playoffs? It ain't the Padres, it ain't the Dodgers, it ain't the Mets. Like, who's it going to be here, Donnie, in the National League?
Exactly. And also, who's going to be in the American League? By the way, shout out to Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of pressure in the month of September to close out your division. How about a 6-game win streak and winners of 7 of their past 10 that still have a 5-game lead over the Yankees and a 7-game lead over the Boston Red Sox? NFL topics, Thursday Night Football. Let's get it.
Aaron Rodgers, 2-year stint with the Jets that he'll never want to remember when he goes into the Hall of Fame. He'll just say, please don't mention that. Now he's with Pittsburgh, and he had his best game since Green Bay. Threw 5 touchdowns. Is it 5, right? Am I right about that, Sam? I don't want to screw this up, too. 4 touchdown passes. Yeah, I screwed up again. 4 touchdown passes against the New York Jets. Buy or sell, Aaron Rodgers will finish the season as a QB1 in a 12-team league, top 12 fantasy quarterback. Buy or sell.
The cop-out here is he stays healthy at Jets, right? He'll do it. They're not asking a lot, top 12. Purdy's already not going to be top 12, right? He's already going to miss this week, probably another week, maybe as much as 5, they've said. So you knock him out there. There'll be other quarterbacks that get hurt, so you knock them out. I don't think he'd ever get top 5, top 6, top 8. But the 9 to 12, I hate to say it, he wasn't bad last year with the Jets. Right? They didn't win games, but he wasn't bad. He had it when he played. He was a good, solid quarterback. He could still sling it. He still can. I'm the first to admit those 4 touchdowns. It wasn't like he had a monster game. A couple of his interceptions were dropped. That should have been picked off there. It seems like he did complete work for touchdowns. A couple of breakdowns by the Jets as well. So I don't see him really as going to win a league for you. But I'm going to buy this if he stays healthy. Hell, just give me 15 games, and I think he can be top 12. So I'll buy this.
I'm going to sell it. Yeah. I mean, games against the Browns and games against the Ravens. And look, I don't know if the Jets defense is as bad as they've showed. If it is, then this may be his best game of the season. So, yeah, I'm going to sell. I think he's on the outside of this looking in.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on SportsGrid.
I love baseball. Joe Ranieri loves baseball. The Early Line loves baseball. The SportsGrid Network loves baseball. And that's what we do. We'll talk baseball in the month of September as we head into the playoffs, which start in October. For me as a Phillies fan, Red October, it's a lot of fun. It's crazy at Citizens Bank Park. Maybe this year, They won't get people at the New York Mets to get upset and maybe make a deeper run into the playoffs. That's neither here nor there, because tomorrow, Joe, we have football back. That's week number 3 in the NFL. And don't you remember I told you people out there, it goes fast. What happened to the preseason? That's done. Week number 1, so exciting. That's done. Week number 2, love this. That's already done. You are in week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's going to go fast. Enjoy the time that you have. Tomorrow, week 3 will be on deck. That's the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. 2 teams, easy to say, Joe Ranieri, going in opposite directions. You look at the line. It opened at 9.5. Bet all the way up to 12.5 at some outlets, but a little bit of a buyback right now to 11.5 at FanDuel, 11.5 at Bet365, and the Westgate out there in Las Vegas. If we look at the total, opened up at 48.5, now sits at 49.5. The tough part is we know Buffalo's better. We know Buffalo is at home, but also, do we have a knockout punch coming from the Buffalo Bills that ends that organizational run? I guess you could say for Tua and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and your head coach Mike McDaniel. Or do we see the Miami Dolphins fight back and get a victory on Thursday night? That seems far-fetched right now.
Oh, no, that's never going to happen. It's never happened, Donnie. I mean, the first of all, the Miami Dolphins have not beaten the Bills in Orchard Park since 2016. So if you think this version is going into Buffalo on a short week and somehow beating Josh Allen, and also, listen, Tua, 2-13 straight up away from home against teams with an actual winning record in his career. So if he's not in sunny South Florida playing a less than 500 team, it usually doesn't end well with Tua here and the Miami Dolphins. Even though, Donnie, I mean, so far we've seen these night games here, Sunday night, Thursday night, Monday night, right? Dogs are 6-2 against the number so far to start the year here, but I mean, let's be reasonable. This is the Dolphins we're talking about, going to a place and taking on a quarterback they have had 0 success against over the years. Listen, people in Miami are praying it's a 42-10 game. So then Mike McDaniel doesn't even have to bother getting on the plane and come back to South Florida. They'll pack his stuff for him and send it, and he can relocate. That's how bad it is here in Miami.
And you look at the, odds to win the AFC East as of this morning. The Buffalo Bills, through 2 weeks of an NFL season, are minus 900. If we take a look at the updated numbers there, you see the Patriots 10-1, the Dolphins 35-1, and then 45-1 for the New York Jets. It's incredible. Like, we just started. Injuries happen in the NFL with the Buffalo Bills being bet like it's already over in the East, and maybe so. Now, tomorrow, as we take a look, very good weather in Buffalo compared to what it could be in November and December. But understand this total is sitting around a 49.5. Touchdowns are expected, and also the odds market does reflect that. Everybody's not plus money to score a touchdown. Take a look at Josh Allen as a quarterback, a minus 175 price. James Cook, who looked tremendous last week, even coming into the game with a hamstring issue, he was phenomenal. Minus 175 to score a touchdown. Then you see 2 Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane, plus 105 and plus 170. If we're looking at the touchdown market for you, Joe Ranieri, who cashes one in? It doesn't seem, it's one of those where I talk to myself and say, wait a minute, 175 and 175, they don't want you betting those guys, Joe. So those 2 guys will be in the end zone.
Yeah, well, there'll be a lot of folks in the end zone here, mostly because that defense is a hot mess for the Miami Dolphins. So, wide receivers looking good for Buffalo. Cook looking good. Allen looking good. The usual suspects. Dawson Knox looking good here. All of those guys are looking good here simply because the Dolphins are not going to be able to stop any of them. That secondary is gross. So Josh Allen going to let a few fly, I think, in this game here on Thursday night.
Yeah, I haven't gone back and watched the entire game yet for the Buffalo Bills against the New York Jets, but they were basically on autopilot in that game. But here's the contrast that you want to use, right? Game number 1, it was like, okay, well, the Buffalo Bills beat the Ravens in an unbelievable comeback. Understand this, coming into the season, Joe, the Ravens are supposed to be a top 3, top 5 defense. After game number 1, I don't know how good the Ravens are. Flip on the tape where the Ravens then played a regular team, as I like to say, in the Cleveland Browns. They beat the tar off of that team. They had an unbelievable, ridiculous touchdown that Joe Flacco threw that should have been an interception. And at the end of the game, they had a Dylan Gabriel, nobody cares about touchdown drive. So in a sense, they go up 3 points to the Cleveland Browns. The reason I bring that up is The Miami defense isn't that good. And if Buffalo is going through like a hot knife through butter for a Jets defense, that's say what you want. As a defensive coordinator, as a head coach, who was supposed to be a decent defense, blasted them. They moved right through the Baltimore Ravens defense. Where does that leave the Dolphins defense, as Joe brings up, where they probably can't stop anybody in that secondary? Josh Allen, 233.5 as his passing prop, and a touchdown prop over 1.5 touchdown passes at a minus 154. That's my key right here. The Buffalo Bills offense doing maybe whatever they want against Miami's defense.
Well, they will because they've done it already 2 weeks to two much better defenses. And the crazy part, Donnie, is how they've been doing it. They have basically been running down the throats of the Ravens and the Jets, two teams that, certainly have been known to be able to stop the run. The Bills are using a power running game and then taking their shots down the field with Josh Allen at a crazy rate. Yeah, I think it's going to be a long night for Miami. How many stops are they truly going to get here?
Yeah, the one guy that you've been watching, like Tyreek Hill actually had a couple nice catches last week. Deep balls, Tua Tagovailoa underthrew him, made a nice comeback, which is that 40-plus game, where finally you saw him go over 30 yards. He had another 20-plus yard catch. Waddle looked okay, but I thought Devon Achane really was a difference maker last week, even in the loss against the New England Patriots. It feels like you're going to have to force feed him, and not just on the ground, but in the air. But then we talk about Tua Tagovailoa. You know what happens when you drop him back 40 times. It's going to be interceptions, and it's going to be concussions, Joe.
Yeah. And that's always the fear with him, and it has been for a while. And he doesn't do well on the road against really good teams. Now, the Bills defense still a little banged up, so they might be able to take some shots. But the best way to do it, have a shot at winning this game and covering, is to keep Josh Allen on the sideline. I don't know if they can do that.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel. What's that mean, Mike? Yeah, get into a shootout with Buffalo, see what happens. Over 50 points, you got to love that here. Let's get and talk about some Heisman races. Back, anybody?
Outside of Portrush, hard to imagine how it gets any better in terms of an individual year for Rory McIlroy. Just such good stuff from him.
Oh, totally. It's, it's kind of wild to me. You just go through that incredible list of venues that he's won at, and then, of course, throw in the Irish Open to be the fourth. It hit hard to believe that he has not won since April. And we talk about this incredible year that he's had.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Who wants to go to Chicago in February for a Super Bowl? Hey, the NFL can host outdoor parties on Lake Michigan. Stop the madness at this point. But now I take a look at the Denver Broncos. Always fun in the Mile High City. Why? Because what a home field advantage. It's at elevation. It's going to be cold. It might snow, and Denver's going to have that advantage. You know what Denver goes? We're going to build a world-class facility that's going to be a dome.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Week 3 of the NFL coming up on deck tomorrow night. We just gave you a nice preview of that Buffalo Bills game going up against the Miami Dolphins. And good luck, Miami. Now, we've seen crazier things happen, but we're expecting maybe an implosion on the Miami season sooner than later. And could that happen on a Thursday night in Buffalo? We will find out. But you know, we're finding out right now who the really good football players in collegiate football are. And it always seems like the quarterbacks are going to lead the race. If we look at the Heisman odds updated today, do you know who's in the lead? It's Carson Beck. Oh, how about that, Joe Ranieri? The Miami Hurricanes and the Beck Boys plus 750. John Mateer's been fantastic for Oklahoma, plus 950. Gunnar Stockton for Georgia, who pulled out a miracle win on Rocky Top this past weekend, and a great wide receiver in Jeremiah Smith at 12-1. But Carson Beck, leader in the clubhouse right now for the Miami Hurricanes. Ooh, they just print quarterbacks down there, don't they? Get into that NIL money, make that transfer portal commitment here, and bring in a superstar quarterback.
No, he has looked the part. The team has looked the part, and a lot offensively has been riding on his shoulder, and he has delivered. But there are a number of quarterbacks on that list that are actually having really, really good seasons. Marcel Reed there at Texas A&M has been great. Dampier has also been good. Dante Moore, keep an eye on this kid out of Oregon. They are really, really dangerous offensively. They got the Civil War this weekend, Donnie. He might throw for 600 yards against this Oregon State team, which is just awful. So he's another kid that could be a long shot at Oregon that you keep an eye on here.
Let's take a look at the Heisman Power Rankings listed here by the College Football Report. Carson Beck, as we know, listed number 1 at this point. John Mateer, I've watched him play. I really like that guy's game. Marcel Reed, what a fun quarterback and a fun offense for Texas A&M. Jaden Maiva, never saw him play for SC. Gunnar Stockton, just watched him play. He's not all that flashy, but sometimes wins pile up when you're Georgia and you go in the Rocky Top and pull games out. You're going to be in that Heisman race here. Devin Dampier, never watched him play. And that looks like he's Utah. Is that correct? Not Houston, right? Dampier?
Utah.
Am I getting that right?
Utah.
The UU out there? Yep.
Utah.
Diego Pavia, watched him play before. Suey Robinson, never saw him play before. Dante Moore, never saw him play before. Taylor Green, is that a made-up name? There's my Heisman Power Rankings.
That is, I'm telling you, look to the bottom there. There were some guys there that are going to have the opportunity to sling it in a lot of situations. And we know how Oregon does it. Utah will be interesting because Utah's a power football team. So will they allow him to drop back and throw the ball all over the place? They might have to this week against Texas Tech. So these all those rankings, Donnie, could be changing on a week-to-week basis.
Oh, yeah. And how about this weekend? Florida comes to town. ESPN game days there. College football today for us. We'll be talking ad nauseum. Carson Beck on the big stages here. That's where you get those votes, Joe. You don't get those votes when you play Bethune-Cookman. You get those votes when you beat ranked opponents or in-state rivals. That's how you get it done. But how about the updated college football national championship odds? And it starts up in the horseshoe with the Ohio State Buckeyes at a plus 550 price. Georgia and Penn State both 6-1. And I'm going to say it again. Penn State should be 160-1 right now. They haven't played anybody. I don't want to see their faces until they actually play an opponent here. Texas 7-1, Oregon 7-1, LSU 10-1, Bama 13-1, and disrespectful having those Miami Hurricanes at 16-1, Joe.
Yeah, and the only team that is actually has 2 wins against ranked teams so far this year is the University of Miami. Is the only team on that list that's actually played not 1 but 2 games against ranked top 25 teams, and they won them both here. How many has Penn State played against? Have they played a lot of ranked teams?
I don't think they played a Division I team yet. Aren't they playing like Division III? Like I think they played William Patterson, my alma mater, the first 3 weeks of the season. Which let me get into this too, because I always have a bone to pick. If you are a Penn State fan, right, you got to pay a decent amount for season tickets. You probably got to donate to the school to get good seats, whatever it is. But I can't imagine, like when I was a season ticket holder for the Philadelphia Eagles, at least on a week-to-week basis, you were getting a solid product that you can cheer and go to the game. Let's just say spreads under 10, under 7, under 3. Imagine it's like, hey, can't wait for the Penn State season to start. And they go, I'm going to drive 4 hours to watch 3 of the most horrific football games of the season. Why do it? Like in college football, it seems like you pay for season tickets and get like one good opponent then you can watch, Joe. Why?
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, who's driving all the way to Happy Valley in the middle of absolutely nowhere, Donnie, with nothing to do except this, and I got to go watch them beat up CW Post? I'm good. Like, I am good.
Exactly.
I'll just here's my check, but really, I don't want to go to any games.
By the way, in 1997, William Patterson, lost 31-3 to CW Post on Long Island. Now, they were Division 2, we were Division 3, so, we got smacked around a little bit at that point. So, no shame in our game, people, and no shame in hour number 2 coming up next.